Chances are you love it in the fall, but you hate it in the spring.
Daylight saving time takes effect early Sunday morning, meaning you'll lose an hour of sleep as we spring ahead. News 8's Jill LaFergie is here with the debate over daylight saving time.
Yeah, Brian, Sue, there's a rising chorus that says the need for daylight saving time is long past. State Senator Jeff Irwin is part of that chorus.
Losing that hour creates a lot of chaos, in addition to the general crankiness and, frustration that people feel.
The Ann Arbor Democrat has introduced a bill that would make daylight saving time permanent, but only if surrounding states like Illinois, Ohio, Indiana, Wisconsin, and Pennsylvania do the same to reduce the confusion over neighboring states following different time zones. It would still take an act of Congress. States can opt out of DLST, but they can't make it permanent without congressional approval.
In my legislation, there's a trigger that, together with action from Congress and a sufficient number of states, that we would all move together.
Popular opinion suggests farmers wanted the later light. Not true. We first changed our clocks during World War I as a way to save energy.
To really sort of like utilize longer hours of daylight in order to reduce the number of hours of folks working in the dark or having electric lights, which is relatively expensive even at that time.
But the time change was unpopular. It made a brief comeback during World War II. After the war, there was a hodgepodge of time zones around the country until standards were set in the mid-60s. Michigan adopted DLST again in 1972.
And it became even more popular and prevalent with the energy crisis in the 1970s.
But times have changed.
The number one reason to continue with this twice annual clock setting dance and to continue volunteering for this chaos and these additional accidents is just because everyone else is doing it.
One thing you can set your clocks by, politicians will talk about doing away with it every time this year. And while he can't put a timeline on the time change measure, Irwin says momentum is definitely growing.
You're seeing more and more people start to kind of think about this and say, yeah, why do we do this? Does this make any sense? Why do we keep doing this? And I think the more people who ask that question, the closer we're going to get to ending this clock setting dance here in Michigan.
The movement also appears to be bipartisan. A Republican from northern Michigan has introduced similar legislation for the past 2 years in the House.